advantages of activity-based costing presented by Group 7. First and foremost, let's have a look about what is ABC. ABC, in full name, we call it as activity-based costing, is a method of assigning indirect costs to products and services based on the activity they require. We always compare ABC with the traditional costing system, which is another method but assigning indirect costs based on the allocation base they require. But why we want to choose ABC method instead of traditional costing system? This is because there are several problems of traditional costing system. For example, traditional costing system only rely on the volume to allocate overhead costs to the product, and thus it will not correctly assigning the overhead costs in situation where the company has a range of products that differ in volume, size, or the complexity of the production. Let's back to our question. What is the benefit of using ABC in our allocation of overhead costs? Benefit number 1 is the amount of allocation by using ABC will be more accurate. This is because ABC is using appropriate allocation cost driver to each activity. Every single relationship between such costs and their causes or activities can be identified easily, and it may prevent the allocation from overvalued or undervalued. There are several examples of cost driver, such as activity run machine with the cost driver of machine hours. Activity of setup machine calculate under the cost driver of setup hours. Moreover, activity of scheduled production job with the cost driver of production runs. And thus, we will know that ABC will be able to provide more accurate information for cost management, and it may help in the right decision. Other than that, ABC able to allocate for large volume and wide range of products. This is because ABC will produce more reliable and correct product cost data in greater diversity among the product manufacturers, such as low volume product or high volume products. So, as compared to traditional costing system is more likely to bring error in the product cost allocation due to using the absorption method, and thus we can conclude that ABC will more accurate. And thus, let's look into more detail from the perspective of the company if we apply ABC costing system in our accounting. As we discussed just now, ABC costing system able to provide more accurate information for the cost allocation, and it may provide the accurate amount for the cost management too, and thus it will help in the making right decision for the company, such as acquiring more bonds or more short-term finance or buying the short-term asset, and it may help in planning the management report. For instance, it may achieve the company short-term goals and the long-term goals.
Hello, my name is Patricia Ikwandi, matrix number 295616. Today, I would like to talk about the second benefits of activity-based costing. Benefits 2. ABC assigns both types of cost to products. In activity-based costing, one of the key benefits is that it assigns both manufacturing costs and non-manufacturing costs to products, whereas traditional product costing methods typically allocate only manufacturing costs, while ABC product costing assigns most of the manufacturing costs but not all, and it also assigns some of the non-manufacturing costs to products. This is the example of manufacturing costs and non-manufacturing costs. In manufacturing costs, it has direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. Direct materials, which is directly associated with the production of a particular product. Direct labors refers to the wages and benefits paid to employees. Manufacturing overhead. These costs can include factory rent, utilities, depreciation of manufacturing equipment, maintenance expenses, and indirect labor. Non-manufacturing costs include selling costs and administrative costs. Selling costs, these costs are incurred to promote and sell products or services. They include advertising expenses, sales commissions, marketing materials, and salaries of sales personnel. Administrative costs is related to the general management and administrative of the organization. They can include salaries of administrative staff, office rent, office supplies, legal and accounting expenses, and general overhead costs. In summary, ABC recognized that both manufacturing and non-manufacturing activities consume resources and drive costs within the organization. ABC aims to identify the activities that contribute to the consumption of resources, regardless of whether they are related to the manufacturing or non-manufacturing functions. By tracing costs to these activities, ABC provides a more precise allocation of manufacturing costs to individual products. For example, if a particular product requires more setups or inspection activities, it will be allocated a higher proportion of the manufacturing costs related to those activities. Then, ABC recognized that non-manufacturing costs can be driven by activities beyond the production flow, such as sales calls, customer inquiries, or order processing. It assigns these costs directly to products by identifying the activities that generate or contribute to non-manufacturing costs. This approach provides a more accurate reflection of how non-manufacturing costs are incurred by individual products. On the other hand, traditional costing methods often use a single cost driver, such as direct labor hours or machine hours to allocate costs. For example, if direct labor hours are used as the allocation base, the manufacturing overhead costs are assigned to products based on the number of labor hours required. This approach assumes that the consumption of resources is directly proportional to the level of activity represented by the chosen allocation base. As a result, only manufacturing costs that are directly traceable to the production process, such as direct materials and direct labor, are assigned to products. Non-manufacturing costs which are not directly linked to the chosen allocation base are typically treated as period costs and are not allocated to products under traditional costing. This approach does not provide a detailed and accurate representation of how non-manufacturing costs are incurred by individual products. Overall, ABC assigns both manufacturing costs and non-manufacturing costs to products. This provides a more comprehensive understanding of the costs incurred in producing each product and helps organizations make more informed decisions regarding pricing, profitability analysis, and resource allocation. Thank you.
Definition about cost pool in ABC. In the context of activity-based costing, cost pools refer to categories or groups of costs that are accumulated together based on a common activity or cost driver. A cost pool is an allocation of costs that are related to a particular activities or a group activities within an organization. Cost pools are created to capture the costs incurred in performing specific activities that are necessary to produce goods or services. These activities can include setup costs, machine maintenance, material handling, quality control, packaging, and many others. The costs within each cost pool are similar in nature and can be allocated or assigned to the products, service, or customer that drive those activities. By grouping costs into specific cost pools, organizations can better understand the relationship between activities and costs. This allows for a more accurate allocation of costs to the products or service that consume those activities, providing insights into the true cost drivers within the organizations. Implementing activity-based costing with more cost pools can bring additional benefits to an organization. Here are some advantages of using more cost pool in ABC. First, improve cost understanding. More cost pools enable organizations to gain a better understanding of the driver behind their costs. By breaking down costs into smaller categories, it becomes easier to identify the specific activities or factors that contribute to those costs. This understanding helps in making targeted cost reduction efforts and optimizing resources allocations. Second, enhance cost visibility. With more cost pools, organizations can gain a clearer picture of the cost structure across different departments, processes, or product or service. This increased visibility allows for better cost analysis, identifying areas of inefficiency or high-cost activities that may require enhancements or optimization efforts. Thus, it facilitates better cost control and enables targeted cost reduction efforts in specific areas. Third will be better decision making. The use of more cost pools in ABC provide organizations with more accurate information for decision making. ABC with more cost pools provide managers with more accurate and relevant cost information. It allows managers to make informed decisions about pricing, product or service profitability, resources allocations, and process improvement and investment decisions. Decision makers can better evaluate the cost implications of various choices and make more effective decisions to improve overall performance. It helps identify areas where costs can be reduced or eliminated and support strategy decision making for long-term profitability. Fourth will be targeted cost reductions. Traditional costing methods may allocate overhead costs based on a single cost driver, such as direct labor hours or machine hours, which can lead to distorted product costs. By using more cost pools, organizations can identify specific activities or areas that contribute the most to their overall costs. These identifications enable targeted cost reductions initiatives, focusing on areas with the highest potential for cost savings. It helps organizations prioritize improvement efforts to achieve maximum cost reductions while maintaining operational effectiveness. Fifth will be enhanced product and customer profitability analysis. With more cost pools, ABC can provide a more accurate assessment of the costs associated with individual products, service, or customer. It allows organizations to understand the true cost driver behind profitability variations and identifying opportunities for improvements. By analyzing costs at a more granular level, companies can make informed decisions regarding product mix, pricing strategy, and customer segmentation to maximum profitability. Six will be facilitated resources allocations. The detailed information provided by more cost pools can help organizations allocate resources more effectively. Managers can allocate resources to activities that have a high impact on the organization's resources and bring better resources utilizations and improve performance. In summary, using more cost pools can link to improved financial performance, cost control, and competitiveness for an organization.
Hi, my name is Nur Harina Binti Burhan. My metric number is 295381. Now I will continue with another benefit of activity-based costing, that is use more allocation base. Let's look at the definition of allocation base. A cost allocation base is a strategy that is used while identifying the most reasonable means of assigning or allocating the cost to specific cost object. A cost object may be a project, a department, or even a function within a department. By creating a workable base for this assignment of expenses, it is possible to create a cost allocation base that takes into account of cost object involved and how certain type of expenses are to be allocated among those objects. Next, how does a cost allocation base work? Costs are assigned to the appropriate department or activity based on the numbers of units of resources consumed by each respective department or activity, such as labor hour or machine hours. The total amount of expenses for the period is then divided among the various departments and activities based on their usage pattern. What type of costs can be allocated? These costs are broken down into 7 categories. The first one is direct costs. These expenses are directly related to a product or service. Second one is direct labor. This cost category include expenses directly related to the employee production of items or services related to the company operation. Next, direct material. As the name suggests, this category includes the costs related to the resources used to manufacture a finished product. Besides that is manufacturing overhead. This category includes the warehouse costs and any other expenses directly related to manufacturing of the product sold. Furthermore is overhead costs. These include expenses that support the company as a whole but are not directly related to the production. Lastly, product costs, also called manufacturing costs or total costs. This category includes expenses for making or acquiring the product you sell. Now we will look at the benefit of using more allocation base. The first one is reducing the cost. By properly allocating the cost and seeing the true cost of doing business, the company can work to reduce this cost. This allocation will help a company to determine the amount of cost to produce each item. Managerial accounting practice typically provide the tools and guidelines necessary to allocate the production costs. A few features relating to the importance of cost allocation include staying on budget, costing goods to meet the profit goals, and tracking the inefficient production. The second one is increasing the profit. Profit can be increased through reduction of costs as well as a proper understanding of the cost to create a product. All companies have some type of profit goals which they can achieve through the sales of goods and services. Individually, profit is the sale price less the cost of an item. Dividing this result by the sales price can give the company its gross profit margin on a per item basis. In most cases, the only way a company can increase its profit margin is to raise the sales price or reduce the cost. The third one is increase the efficiency. Through a detailed understanding of the cost of doing business, the company can increase efficiency through lessening the waste and finding room for improvement. Company can have all manners of inefficiencies or operation that raise costs intermittently. For example, the company may use too many workers to put together for a specific product. This additional worker will increase the product cost as the hourly wages must go into the cost allocation process. So the company should just remove them from the system to improve the company operation and reduce the product cost to a normal range that allows for maximization of profit. Next, it simplifies the decision making. Cost allocation gives a detailed overview of how your business are used. From this perspective, you can determine which product and services are profitable, in which department are most productive. The data that is compiled in order to make use of the base can often help the identify of areas of the production in which some improvement of the general operation processes could benefit the business over time. The last one, it assists the staff evaluation. You can also use the cost allocation to assess the performance of different departments. If a department is not profitable, the staff productivity may need an improvement. Cost allocation can also be an indicator of the department that exceed the expectation and deserve the recognition. Award and recognition are a great way to motivate the staff and in return of increase in the productivity. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and greetings. My name is Nur Azza binti Muhammad Puai and my matrix number is 295673. Activity-based costing is widely used in the manufacturing industry since they need to know the nearly true cost and better classifying the costs incurred when producing products. The company will understand their expenses better by using activity-based costing as the expenditure is divided into groups and easily identified. Therefore, the fifth benefit and advantage of ABC is the fact that it has a general basis level of activity on capacity. Altogether, there are 4 general basis level of activity on capacity, starting with unit level, batch level, product level, and facility level. This level is stated according to its hierarchy of ABC from lowest to highest. It's important for a company to identify and choose which level of activity is suitable for their business, as each level of activity has its own additional costs that are included in the accumulated cost. Activity analysis is one way to apply in order to identify these activities. This will help business to assign overhead costs more accurately. Firstly, unit-level activities include costs that occur every time a unit is produced or service is performed, such as direct material, direct labor, sales commission, and other costs that are commonly counted when a product is produced. At this level, company costs will increase as per the increased units of production. Hence, this cost should not occur if no unit of production is produced. Unit level is the lowest level in the cost of hierarchy of ABC as stated before. Secondly, batch level activities include costs related to purchasing and receiving material as it is incurred every time a group of units is produced, which is different from unit level activities that happen each time a product is made. These costs are accounted for regardless of the size of production. An example of the activity cost is the cost of processing sales order, issuing and tracking work order, and also equipment setup. While product level activities include costs that support the entire product line but not directly each individual item as it is performed to support the product produced. For example, the cost of product marketing such as advertising. Advertising is done after the product is produced as its purpose is to make the product known in the market to the consumer. Hence, this activity is done to support the product production as per the reason of activity which is included in the accumulated costs. Next, facility level activities count costs that are necessary for development and production to take place into their Next, facility level activities count costs that are necessary for development and production to take place into their accumulated costs as this will maintain the general manufacturing capabilities of products. This involves activities that is carried out for an entire facility. For example, the cost of maintaining general facilities such as buildings and grounds are included in the cost when this level of activity is applied. Last but not least, we have customer level activities that is an activity carried out towards specific customers rather than specific products. However, the four levels stated before this are the general ones for level activities. The first three activities are allocated towards a specific product, while facility level activity allocation is to be made on an arbitrary basis rather than allocated to individual units, causing the facility level activities and costs to be treated as period costs, since they are difficult to assign to different products. Even with all these levels, assigning costs to products is not always possible. But these levels at least provide a framework of which costs are most likely traceable to products. In conclusion, this shows how activity-based costing is more accurate and reliable compared to traditional costing. The calculation for ABC may be complex compared to traditional costing, yet the simplistic calculation of traditional costing will lead to a less accurate result of estimating overhead costs related to production. We believe that the points we provide are sufficient enough to show the advantages of using ABC rather than traditional costing. Thank you for listening to our presentation. That is all from us, and Assalamualaikum.